like thinking in a long term, the long game, long-term game. This is my favorite topic so far. Like in all the videos that I do, I usually talk about this like long-term thinking. What really changed my life was when I started thinking what I want to do in the next decade, what I want to do on my 30s, on my 40s, on my 50s even. When I'm thinking about that and not trying to reach every single goal that I have in a next few months or in a year, that really makes me more calm and more patient, because I know there's great things going to happen. And I think this really separates people. Like some people are just stuck with the right now, what is happening right now and the things and the problems right now. But if you start thinking in a long term, in the long game, it really makes you see every problem you have right now so much more smaller and not so important. I know for a fact that it's not going to be me, this person right here, right now, that is going to achieve my biggest vision that I currently have. But I need to change myself into being that person. If you are in a life situation where you feel like I just don't want to stay here, I want to do some cool things, I want to build a successful business, for example, you need to change, because like I've said in the past videos, it's not going to be you achieving those big goals and dreams, but it's going to be the next version of you, which you need to change yourself. So the first thing you need to do in order to change your life is accept change and say yes to the change, because that is what's going to happen. Like even if you are going to be more successful, even if you're going to fail, like change is going to be there and present in your life when you start doing things and also achieving new great goals. One thing that is really guaranteed, and that is change. And when you accept that, okay, things are not going to be the same way they were in the past or they are right now, it's going to be so much more easier to adapt to that change, even if it's like change to better or worse. And when you also know that in those worse situations where things are going wrong, you also know in that moment that, okay, this is just now and things are going to change to better at some point, and it's just inevitable. And for me, it has also meant, for example, making those difficult choices. You get comfortable, because when you start achieving things, it would be really easy to just stay there, accepting that, okay, well, this is what took us here or took me here, but it's not going to be taking me to the next step that I want to go. Have clear mission and why are you doing what you're doing. There needs to be a deeper why you're doing that. So that's also something that helps you to push forward also in those times when it's not that easy, when there's problems even more and issues and everything seems to go wrong. And in those moments you need that why. So for example, my own why is more deeper than like reaching 1 million in sales or becoming a Netflix star. It's actually making a change in this life and this world to women that have been underestimated, because that's what I've felt in my own life. I don't want my daughter or any other girl ever to feel like they can't do something or they can't talk about money, for example, like I am. Like those are things that I need to still think about, and I feel like I'm so different from other people, and I don't want others to feel this way. And that is like my goal in my career, to try to make that normal for women and also women of color like myself. So I think that is the deeper why. And also, of course, there's like personal things. I want to create wealth to my family and to myself and to have this easier and nicer life, because I didn't come up from money or anything like that when I was raised by a single mom who didn't really have like a lot to that we could go to travel or something that I really enjoy doing. And now that I have created this life for myself and also for my family and my daughter, it's super important to me, and it reminds myself like why I'm doing this, even when it's super hard, because like believe me, it is so hard trying to achieve something big and something that others can't still see. And when I'm seeing already this big vision that I have, I really can notice when people are trying to say me some things, and I'm like, okay, well, you don't know what I'm up to and like what I'm doing, and they don't know why I'm doing these things, because they don't know the why behind it. But for me, I have it super strong and clear reasons why I'm doing something. So that's the most important thing. Like, you need to clarify that to yourself. So thinking in the long term doesn't only help you with goal setting and having less pressure on achieving those goals really fast, but it also makes you more productive, because then when you know that, okay, well, if I want to achieve this in a long term, I know that I need to be doing these smaller things in order to achieve that bigger goal and vision. That's also making you more productive, and you know why you need to do that. So for example, me as a busy mom and busy CEO, there's so many things I could be doing, but when I know, okay, well, this is what I want to achieve in a long term, then I also know that in order to do that, I need to focus today on these things and not these other things that are taking me away from achieving the bigger vision and goal. When you feel like you have to do something, you are more likely to actually do that. And that is why I feel that I've succeeded in my own life, because I have had to do these things in order to get what I want in my life. It wasn't a choice. Like I didn't have the opportunity of somebody giving me the things, but I had to do it myself. And also I feel like I have to work on my mission instead of like I want to make life better to women and help them create wealth. Like I don't feel like that way. Like I feel like I have to be the one helping other women or other people building wealth through their businesses. Like I feel like I have to do that, and this is a thing that I just need to be doing here today, filming this video for you. So thinking in that way really makes you actually change your life. You admit what you don't know, and understanding that you probably know so much less than you might have thought at some point. Like for example, like I told you about the experience of starting my own business, when I tried to avoid learning some skills that were actually inevitable for me to learn and become better as an entrepreneur. And same thing goes here, that when you start learning those things and like seeing what other things you should be learning in order to become better, you understand that you actually know nothing, and there's like always these things that you could be learning even more. So definitely I would say that admitting what you don't know has been something that has changed my life, because now I also go into situations as somebody who always wants to learn, and I want to learn from everyone that I meet, and I just want to get the knowledge out of like all the podcasts and all the books, joining in different coaching programs and masterminds. I really went there and saw these testimonials, and I thought that, okay, well, if somebody has been able to do that with this in this program or in this mastermind, like I want to be that. I want to be the best testimonial that this coach has. And like that has been my attitude and thought when I've joined these type of programs. And I've succeeded in that goal in like some of these programs that I've joined, and it's been really good. And the experience after becoming the best client of your coach or your mentor has been really beneficial for me, because once you get this attitude that you already know these things, it's actually going to prevent you from getting better at it and taking lessons from others and from people who might have some really valuable lessons to share. If you think that you already know all of this stuff and you're not going there with an open mind, it's actually going to make you know even less. The habit around this would be also to constantly trying to learn new skills and new things and about world and being more aware of everything. So I would definitely say that creating a daily habit around learning new things through podcasts, YouTube videos, like this, for example, like that is a great way to become better. So definitely these two things, understanding and admitting what you don't know, but also trying to learn every day something new. There's always going to be problems either way, because if problems are inevitable, then you might as well decide that, well, I'm going to have the problems that come with starting your own company rather than being in a 9-to-5 job that you don't like. So there's always going to be problems, but you can decide what type of problems you are going to get in your life. And also don't ever think that if you're reaching that goal, if you're becoming a millionaire or something else, you're not going to somehow magically not have problems in that moment. You are definitely going to have them, but they are just different. And that's why I love my own coach who just said to me that we are trying to solve problems so that you are going to get new ones. So that is like the goal. You are not trying to get rid of problems, because that's not going to happen ever. In business, if you are worrying about doing mistakes while running your business, or like that's what's going to happen. And when your business is failing, it's actually your business giving lessons to you, because you are learning from those mistakes and from those failures to avoid those failures in the future. And when you are succeeding and when there is no bigger mistakes or failures in your business, that is when you are giving the business the lessons that you have already learned. I heard this one from Alex Hormozy from one of his videos, and I really liked this idea of your business giving lessons to you, teaching you as an entrepreneur. And when the business is doing really well, that is when you are giving the business all the lessons you've learned. And I think it's just the balance. It's going to happen like after having that time of success, like you can already know after you've done business for a while that it's going to get hard at some point. Like there's not going to be a time that it's only going to be successes after successes and like all the achievements without any mistakes and failures. Like that's not going to happen ever. So just accept that and just move on and solve that problem. And also having the belief that you are going to solve those problems. And even if that's not going to go in a way that you are wanting it to be solved, it can be even better. So don't get stuck in the way that you're going to solve the problem, but just solve it and move on. Try to think things in a long-term game rather than short-term game. Like now a mistake, a failure that you did might seem big or like a big thing or bad thing. But if you think about this in decades, does it really matter? You are you, no matter what success you have or what mistakes you do, like you are you, and that's not going to be taking away from your worth or like from your like self-worth or anything like that. And that's why I really would recommend you to view yourself separately, that you are not your latest successful achievement, for example, but you are you, and your successes, your failures, they are a separate thing from you. Also understanding that your failures don't define you. Like that is the one thing that I really want you to understand, that your success don't define you, but also neither does your failures. And every time you're facing those hard times, you're doing mistakes, you're struggling, you should definitely view that time that, okay, this is the time that I'm going to be needing in order to create some compelling content in the future, or like your compelling story, or like a relatable story. Like what type of success story is that? Okay, I just did this thing, I succeeded, nothing happened, here I am. Like that's not a success story. Like a real success story looks like you struggled a lot in the beginning, then you had some success, but then you struggled a little bit more, and then you you had some bigger successes. So like that is just part of your story, and understanding that you need those struggles, you need those mistakes and failures in order to actually even become a success story. Like that's necessary for you. So embrace that and really like be thankful that, oh, I'm thankful to having these failures and mistakes so that I can learn from them. Like in 20 years, like will anyone even remember that you did this mistake? And if you think about people, like famous people, like people have such a short memory. Like people have done big mistakes, and people have, like others have forgotten that. And there are these type of people in public media as well. So I wouldn't really worry about these mistakes, but just trying to learn from them so that you don't do them again. Like that is something that also my business coach said to me, that you should definitely try to do business in a way that you are not going to repeat those mistakes. Like if something happens, if you fail, try to analyze it and think like what happened and what I can do in the future so that I don't do that again. If your team member does a mistake, also the same thing with them. But then you just need to keep going. Like there's no other way. There can be critics that are right and correct, but then what you can do is to just publicly apologize and keep on going. I don't think like why that would be a reason to stop doing what you do. What if you changed the question, what if I fail, to what if I win? And what if I got everything that I wanted? When I was thinking about this topic, I noticed that I rarely think about like what would happen if I failed, but rather actually thinking about all the great things that would happen if I achieved whatever I was trying to achieve. Also understanding that a question of what if I fail is actually saying that I might not be willing to risk my ego, my time, my money, my energy into seeing if this works out. Because that's what you're going to be risking. It's your ego, it's your money, it's your time. And if you ask those questions like, what if I fail? Like that's you yourself, you're asking like, am I willing to risk those things? But what if you actually started asking yourself like, what if I win? Like trying to reframe that question, like what if I win? What are all the things that I could achieve, or what type of life I could be living if I win? I didn't fail, I actually figured out the way. Because it is true, like nothing is certain, like you might fail, but I don't even think about failing as something that if I don't figure out something the first time, like it's not failure for me. Failure for me is that if I stop trying. So if I just quit and I didn't try again, that's a failure to me, at least. So thinking in a way that I'm going to be asking myself, what if I win? Because in order to achieve any kind of success, you need to risk your ego, your money, your time, your energy. Like that is what you need to do in order to succeed. So if you want to succeed, you need to be willing to take the risk. Stop being so hard on yourself. Also, like being patient with yourself, like you're learning, and what is the most rewarding thing is to notice the improvement that you've done. Like for example, 1 year ago, I already posted stuff in English to my Instagram, but now that I 1 year later did a similar type of post that I was posting a year ago, I noticed that, oh, I know so much more now. I can give so much better advice right now than I did a year ago. But am I unhappy that I gave this advice last year? Of course not. I'm happy that I did, because if I didn't, I wouldn't see this growth in myself as a business consultant and also as a content creator. So doing things when you're not ready yet, when you're not perfect yet, it's so valuable and so important in your own growth. So stay consistent, just do the things, and that way you will grow and you will notice that growth, and that is the most rewarding thing. And when you notice yourself having those not so productive days, don't beat yourself up because of that. Don't be so hard on yourself, but just remember that each moment, each day is an opportunity to start again and try again. Maybe there's these external reasons why you didn't have a so productive day, and that's okay. Like, that happens to all of us. The most important thing is to just keep on going, also when it's not being so productive. I have this mindfulness coach for myself, and one lesson that I've gotten from her was that each minute is a new chance on doing something else. For example, I now decided to use my phone to scroll Instagram, and I noticed myself on doing that, and I had previously decided that I'm not going to do that anymore. That is a moment for me to decide that, okay, well, I did that now, but now I can also put this phone down and start again and try to be away from my phone and reduce my screen time as I had already planned on doing. But not beating yourself up like, oh my god, I'm doing this again, I don't want to be on social media, but here I am doing the thing that I decided that I'm not going to do. So instead of doing that, just decide, okay, well, I did that now I'll put my phone away and continue my life. And this is a new opportunity for me to change my behavior and take new habits on my life. And each moment is a new opportunity for you. For example, my experience in social media, I really wanted to become an influencer, a blogger, when that was cool. And I never got the amount of likes and followers that I needed in order to actually make a living out of that. So what I came up with was that, okay, well, I'm going to be a social media manager. And I got my first few clients that paid my salary for myself as an entrepreneur when I started when I was 20 years old. And they paid me monthly basis. So that was like a dream come true. Like, I get these I can send these monthly invoices to my social media management clients, and I can make a living out of social media. So the thing was that it didn't go as I planned. I didn't get sponsorships to my blog, but I got instead the social media management clients. So this is also something that really helps you to move forward when you are not getting stuck with the problems and just thinking that this is never going to happen, because I really guarantee you that there's always a way that you are going to make that happen, and you just need to find another way or ask from another person. Your younger self would be so proud of you. Think about it, like, what did you dream about 5 years ago? Because I bet that you are living that life right now. Looking at something where you have your vision and maybe like a vision board, and reminding yourself of that every single day. And also what I've added to my vision board is also having my legacy board. So that is what I've already accomplished, and all these things that I've already done in my life, which I'm proud of. And when I see those two together, it makes it more realistic for me to see my vision as something that I can actually accomplish when I see all those things that I've already done. So my vision and my legacy till this date, having those two together and reminding myself daily of those things is going to make me so much more passionate about like what I'm doing, even on those days when I feel like I'm not going to do anything because I'm tired, I just can't do it. And then I just remind myself of like what I've already done and where I'm going, and that's definitely going to make me more likely to go out there and show up and do the work that is needed to do in order to make that vision a reality. If you got all these things that you currently have in your life, that is proof that you can also get something else, something more, something bigger, reach that bigger goal. Like that is possibility for you. I worked so much to get where I am today, and that makes me proud of myself. Difficult choices today lead to easier future for you. If you are now just doing the work, and then you will be rewarded, and you are going to be happy that you did the work that needed to do in order to get where you want to go. And I promise you that it will get so much easier if you just learn to do them. And it isn't even just in business, but it's in your personal life and in everything that you do. For example, in my own life, I've made hard decisions to keep running my business and to grow my business to the levels that it is today, but also that has taught me lessons in my personal life. When we, for example, moved to Portugal, we sold everything in Finland, in Helsinki, and gave away our dream home that we had, the penthouse of our dreams. And that's what it was needed to do in order to start a new life in Portugal. And it has been really hard also, this move here, but I know from my own previous experience with business and with everything that when I'm doing these hard choices, these are going to lead for the best rewards and the best things that will happen in your life, and those will come from the hard things. And the same goes with your child. It's really hard to have a baby and a toddler, like everything like that, but then you get those sweet moments and they feel so much better because you know that it took so many hours and so many like sleepless nights and work and everything to get there. So it's so much more precious. If you want good things, you need to put some effort and do some hard and difficult choices. You are the one who is going to be knowing the answers to each and every single question that you are now trying to figure out. Like, it's you, it's the future you who can help you to walk through those things. And if you think this in a way that your future self is able to overcome all these problems, all these struggles, all these mistakes, like your future you is not going to be doing those mistakes anymore. So that person is going to be really powerful, really great entrepreneur. And that person can't be a great entrepreneur if they don't do mistakes and face some failures, so that they can overcome them and become stronger, become better at them. So I think it's just beautiful to think about that in a way that it's you, it's your future self. Like, it actually makes me even a little bit emotional. Like, that person it's sitting right there. And even if you are not thinking about it consciously, like, you are a role model to so many people around you. So I really think that just being yourself and fulfilling your mission in this world, like, that is the most powerful thing. And one great tip that I've learned in my journey from 0 to 1 million in business was that I just need to be okay with that idea that not everyone is going to view me as I would want people to see me. So I think it just is about building your resilience, building your confidence, and also I think that when you are good with yourself and you know that what you're doing is aligned with your values and you believe in what you do and in yourself, like, there's nothing that people can say to change that. Mostly it is about the fear of like, what if people say that it's embarrassing that I didn't get the clients to my beta testing group that I was looking for 5 people, for example. Like, what if people saw that? like nobody cares. Like that's something that is your ego saying that it matters. But people don't actually care, or they don't really follow like you so close. People are going to judge you anyway. They are going to judge you if you did something else. So why you wouldn't rather actually just be doing what you want to do and take the risk of failing, doing some mistakes, and being judged because of that, because of doing what you wanted to do in the first place. And you are going to also learn how to solve those problems, how to overcome those mistakes, and get the life that you wanted. Because that's the only way you are going to get it, is through doing the things, taking the risks. So definitely I would say that do it, and don't care about the people. Like if they are, like if you are scared of doing the mistakes because you are scared of being judged by other people, like they are going to judge you anyway. If you are good with yourself, like I said before, if you're being authentic, like you don't really need to worry about your reputation, because that is other people's problem if they see it or view it differently. When I've received something really negative from social media, I was thinking before that, oh my god, it's done, like nobody's going to be buying from me. Like I had these feelings before, but then what I realized was that this isn't about like this short-term comments or talks. And also one of my big role model, Rachel Rogers, she has these like blog posts written about her that are really negative, talking that how bad she is. And I'm like, oh my god, like that person is somebody that I really admire. And if she has these hate posts written about her, like then I just realized that like it didn't stop her from doing what she's doing. Because when you're thinking everything in a long period of time, so when maybe in like 10 years, in 20 years, like something like some negative comment or something, like even a blog post or video, a negative video about you, like it's not going to make a big difference in 10 or in 20 years if you are a good person and you actually are doing good things. For me, I think about Oprah. I want to be as influential, as wise, and as powerful as Oprah. But I know that that didn't happen for her in her 20s. That happened when she's like, I don't know if she's 50 or 60 or what is her age actually even. But what I know is that it took decades to build that kind of credibility that Oprah has. So what is the point of me trying to become like her in the next year or so? So my goal now is that I can see myself becoming an influential person like she is when I'm in my 50s or 60s. And now I'm just working towards that. It makes me so much having this ease with myself when I'm thinking that it doesn't matter even if this year isn't the best year in business or in my life, because then I have the next year and the next decade still to building up to that point where I'm reaching my bigger, higher goal. I had 3 people near me, like close people to me, my friends and colleagues, who I saw writing and publishing their own books. So a thing that for most of the people seemed like so impossible, and they just dream about it, but they don't really see that happening for themselves. I got those 3 people as an examples in my own life. Wow, like this person, I know their background, I know what they have done to achieve that goal. That's why I also knew and believed in myself that, well, maybe I should write a book and publish it with a publisher that is well known. So having those people around you is super important. And that's also one reason why I have tried to create a bubble type of thing around me where I'm surrounded by this like positivity, and also with people that have the mindset that I also want to have, and they have these big goals. When we see each other achieve our goals, it makes it so much easier, and also it makes it look like it's possible for you too. Whatever happens publicly when you show up and you promote your business, like whatever happens, like there's going to be people close to you, who know who you are, and they also know like if there's something negative said about you, that like who you truly are. And that is also something important to remember, and have those people around you who actually know like what you are like, whatever happens. So I think it's super important who you surround yourself with, and if the people right now around you say things like that's not possible, don't do it, just quit what you're doing and everything like that, maybe you should consider spending less time with them. And it's important, especially if you are just starting out and you don't have the belief in yourself so strong. Because for me, for example, I really don't even care anymore what others think, because I've reached that point where I have already done so much of those things that I used to think that it's not possible for me. Like, you're not going to be confident ever if you're never going to try and start, because confidence is built from you doing hard things. And when you do those hard things and you finally achieve new things that you never even thought may be possible for you, and even like the smallest things sometimes, those are the moments when you build up your confidence, and that comes from experience. So when you don't have the experience, you just need the courage to start and just keep on going. And it doesn't really matter like what the outcome is, like if your first reel or your TikTok is perfect or polished or like even good at all, like it doesn't matter. But what matters is that you got it done, and that is when you are going to build the confidence, and you are going to be better next time. And if you just keep on going, in a year you will be so much better. So you need to get going in order to get good. So that's what I want you to remember from this